Hi everyone, welcome to another GoFundMe video for my top surgery in Vancouver. My name's Natalie and my pronouns are she, her. And this isn't really a GoFundMe video anymore. It's more like just like an update video for you. We are 1 week and 3 days? It's Saturday. Let's see. It is Saturday, May 16th as I record this, and I had my surgery on Wednesday, May 6th. So it's been just over a week now. And we're in my recovery now. And so my setup's a little bit different today. So because I can't lift and push and pull and stuff like that, I had to adjust my stuff to where my backdrop usually stays, because I can't put it back in the original spot that it usually goes for these videos, which is why I'm holding my microphone like this. And yeah, well, how should we get into this? I guess we'll just jump right into the surgery stuff. So Nicole and I went to Vancouver on Tuesday, May 5th. And yeah, nice and easy. We went after she finished work and got onto the 5 p.m. ferry, made it in time for roughly about 7:30ish to get to the hotel. If I remember correctly, the place we stayed at was called Comfort Inn, which wasn't terribly far from the hospital. The road, though, directly to get to the hospital was like crowded with construction. So it did take a little bit longer to get there just because of the detour we had to take. But yeah, the place, I'll show you a video actually, I'll add it in here, was okay. It was a good amount of money for what we got. Gosh, I can't even think at the top of my head right now. It's roughly $400, $400. I can't remember anymore. But yeah, so we got a nice little place with 2 beds. The air conditioning was really nice, honestly. I also found that it helped me sleep because of the white noise it made. The bathroom though was, or not the bathroom, but like the bathtub specifically, or slash shower, was interesting because where I live, in my bathroom, I just have a shower. It's not a bathtub that can be used as a shower. It's literally just a standing shower. And so I had to figure out how to turn this one on. And it took me so long. I actually eventually had to call room service because Nicole was gone for the evening. And so I would call room service to ask them how to turn the bathtub into a shower. And it wasn't just like a thing you like on the wall or anything like that. Yeah, that you had to pull like for some things, or like on the tap, there's like sometimes a knob that you pull on. It's literally on the spout of the bathtub where the water would come for to fill the water bath. You took the ring where the water was literally coming from and pulled it down. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't obvious at all. But we got there eventually. It was nice. But yeah, room was great. Location was fine. Yeah, so it was good. And then day of the surgery, we got there. It was a noon. I didn't get told until the Monday before the surgery what time it would be at. So we got, I had to arrive for noon. So we arrived actually a little bit earlier than that. I think we got there 11:30, 11:45ish. And it was super, super duper nice and easy and quick. And yeah, got up to the room, or not, what's it called? Surgical daycare, I think is what it's called. So we got up there and checked me in, waited a little bit. Nicole was with me the whole time. I'm like, oh, Nicole, you probably don't need to be here for it. But she's like, I'm going to stay. And she was right. She should have stayed. She was 100% correct. So I'm glad she did stay because there was questions for her that she needed to answer as well. So, yeah. Got into surgical daycare. Here's a picture, by the way, of me in the surgical daycare, just before we going into surgery. And yeah, uh, they ask you while you're in the little setup area, whatever you want to call it, preparation area, a bunch of questions from like 3 different people. There was one nurse who asked a good majority of questions. Then there was the anesthesiologist, and then the surgeon. And I think there might have actually been one more, but I can't really quite remember. And oh yeah, and then there's the lady that took you to the surgeon, the surgery room. That's it. That's who the 4th person was. Um, and yeah, I can't remember any of the questions at this moment in time, but it's like allergies, all the medical preparation questions, basically. And then once the surgeon came in to do her questions with me and set up, she just drew lines on me about for where the implants were going to be and all that kind of jazz. And then, yeah, then eventually Nicole left because they're just like, yeah, Natalie's going to go in like 10 minutes, so feel free to leave, and then we'll call you when she's ready to be picked up. And so they rolled me to the room, which was fine. This time around, I didn't get motion sickness, which was great, because last time I did. And what else? Oh, hi, Eve. And I'm going to turn that off. And yeah, so they rolled me to the room and got me to lie down on the table. And this time around, the anesthesia was different. So for my bottom surgery, it was through a mask and it was very quick. Like they're just like, yeah, just the anesthesiologist just told me, he's like, oh yeah, just think of your favorite place to be, wherever that is. And of course I chose to think of my cats and me sleeping on my couch, because I'm always at the most peace then. And yeah, and that was for bottom surgery, and you just take a couple and you're gone within seconds. This one though was through the IV, and I could feel it trying to work, but it wasn't, and I was starting to panic. And because I was starting to panic, it was not working well, because I guess my heart was racing. I don't know, my blood pressure went up, so they had to pump more into me than they like a normal person would, kind of. And so eventually I went out, but it was such a terrible feeling. I much prefer the mask now rather than it through the IV, because now I've never had anesthesia before besides these two surgeries. And this, through the IV, I could feel it working through my body slowly, which was the weirdest feeling. I began feeling claustrophobic in my own body, as it felt like almost all of my muscles were beginning to tighten and like stiffen, and I couldn't move them. And then eventually I felt it in my throat too, and I'm just like, oh, why is my throat going? Oh God. And that's when the panic started going, and they're like, oh, she's not gone yet. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. And then they pumped a little bit more into me, and then got knocked out. And yeah, that was a terrifying feeling. I do not like anesthesia through the IV. I can tell you that right now. It was terrifying. But eventually it worked, and I woke up later in the the recovery room, and I had one nurse who was actually about to sign off. So eventually we switched nurses, but I was super nauseous after because of how much anesthesia they gave me. And the lady that we had, the first one, was super nice to me. She was super great, young lady, probably like 20s, whatever, and treated me like absolutely awesome. Then we switched to an older lady who was very much trying to kick me out very fast, even though I was very clearly nauseous. Like my friend Nicole, she's worked in the hospital and all that stuff, and she like knows a lot of medical stuff. And she's like, no, my friend should probably stay. She's very clearly not looking good. And even another nurse came by and they're like, yeah, this person shouldn't leave yet. Because they are very clearly like, I lost color and I was like, I felt sweaty. And then, yeah, of course, I puked eventually. And yeah, I puked a lot, actually. They gave me a little blue baggie to hold and just take with me because I was puking a ton, like a lot. It wasn't good. It was the worst feeling. I hate puking. Well, no one likes puking, but yeah, it was rough. And so eventually we had to just get going. Eventually, we're just like, this is the feeling I'm not going to shake off. We just got to go. So Nicole got me onto a wheelchair and we got wheeled out. Went down to the pharmacy in the hospital because they gave me two prescriptions. One was like something that you have to have for surgery. I'm guessing it's like an anti-inflammatory or something like that. And the other one was a painkiller. I haven't had to take the painkillers because the pain was super easy compared to bottom surgery. Bottom surgery was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my entire life. For any time you go to a hospital and get major surgery done, they usually do a pain scale for you. They're like, oh, how are you feeling? 1 through 10. I got to 10 with bottom surgery. And I now know what 10 feels like. It's excruciating. It's the worst feeling ever. And so that was solidly a 10. I never want to feel that pain again in my life. And So there's a very clear reason why for bottom surgery they keep you in the hospital for a week, because that's in that week, that's when I felt that 10. It wasn't like right after the surgery. It was like a day or two after the surgery. The pain just keeps going up. For this has been a very easy pain to deal with. When I first got out of the surgeon's room or whatever, and the anesthesia was clearing up, they asked me the question 1 through 10 kind of thing. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe a 4, maybe. Like there's still a soreness to it, but it's like super low. Like even today, I would say like it feels like a 2, maybe a 1. Like it's also due to the compression bra. But yeah, I don't feel a lot of pain. I know I can't lift up, so I'm not going to try to lift up or pull anything and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the pain super easy for this surgery. I only took the painkillers they prescribed me for, I think it was like the first 5 days, and even then I wasn't taking them as much as they told me to, or for how long. Like, because it was super minimal. They're just like, you can take 2 pills every 4 hours. And I'm like, here's one at the beginning of my day and one at the end of my day before I go to bed. And that's all I needed. And now for the past several days now, I stopped counting. No painkillers whatsoever. Well, now I switched, actually. Take that back. I switched. Now I'm just taking Tylenol because that's all I really need. But that's also at the end of my day only, not even at the morning. It's only at night. So I can sleep with pretty easily without any pain. But yeah. Yeah, that was really it for the whole surgery part. Nicole got me back to the hotel, in which again, I was very nauseous during the drive, especially again, because if you remember what I mentioned before, there's a lot of construction, which means lots of bumps on the road, which is not great if you're nauseous and have recently had surgery and are very sensitive. So it was not a fun ride. But eventually we got back to the hotel. I decided I am just going to lie down. I cannot do anything right now. And it was very funny because earlier I told Nicole how I don't watch, but I play Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, to help me fall asleep at night regularly. Like, it is my white noise. And so she turned it on when we got there, back to the hotel, and within like 5 minutes, I was dead asleep. It was so funny. It was perfect. It's like my little lullaby. So I played it, and then I fell asleep. And by the time I woke up, it was the next morning. Like, we got back home probably, or not home, but the hotel, probably about, 6. I wasn't really paying attention, but it was like the sun was still up. So I want to say 6:30 maybe is when we got back, and she put on the movie, and I woke up a little bit in the middle of the night. I can't recall why. There was a reason. Oh yes, our neighbors sucked. There was someone who got to their room at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and they were just slamming their door nonstop. I'm like, wow, this is the worst part about staying in a hotel, because they had no care for other people whatsoever, and they kept slamming the door numerous times. Luckily, Nicole couldn't hear it because she has a hearing aid, so when she's asleep, she's just gone. And so I heard it, and I'm like, this sucks. And eventually they stopped after like a half an hour of it, and I'm like, okay, so that sucked. And then eventually I went back to sleep, and then woke up at like 6, I think, and Nicole woke up at 5-ish, if I remember correctly. And then, yeah, we just got up and left, went to the downstairs to have our little continental breakfast. I think that's what it's called, right? Get me wrong. And so they had eggs, they had sausage, which I shouldn't have eaten, but I did. And then bagels. What else did they have? I feel like they had other things, and juice, coffee, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I had that, and then we left. Got onto the earlier ferry, actually. I think we were trying to go for the 11 is when the reservation was for, but then we actually got there quite early and got there for the 10 o'clock. So we got the 10 o'clock ferry back home. And again, I was still quite nauseous that day as well, when we were heading back. Like, the anesthesia still didn't wear off. Like, I had to have the window down while we were driving. And like, even when we got to the ferry terminal, to wait to get onto the ferry, I had to stand outside of the car because I'm just like, sitting down in a car ain't doing it for me. I need the wind. I need to be standing, all that kind of stuff. and it was bad. It was rough. Um, but I'd say probably by the end of that day of coming back home, that's when I finally felt not nauseous anymore. But yeah, it all went well. Got back home. Um, and everything's been easy peasy lemon squeezy ever since then because I was smart enough to prepare my house for my surgery. And what I mean by that is I had anything that I needed from a high shelf, brought it down to nice and low because with this surgery you can't reach up high. Like I can only reach up about here, I think. So roughly shoulder height. So anything too much higher, I can't go much further. And yeah, so the cats have all probably been the hardest part about my recovery because they love me very much. And I think they know that my chest hurts. So they are trying to get onto me and make biscuits. And it doesn't help. I love them very much. But so at night, well, actually, I'm going to skip back a little bit here. So at the very beginning, I had to sleep upright because, again, the pain from the surgery didn't allow me to be able to get up on my own. So, like, the day that we were at the hotel after the surgery, Nicole actually had to physically help me get back up because I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Like, my muscles were straining because you're not supposed to engage your pecs at all. And so pushing yourself up, fun fact, engages your pecs. So yeah, so I had to get Nicole to help me that day. And that taught me from when I got back home to sleep upright. So I didn't need anyone's help to get up. Yeah. And then, so that only lasted for, gosh, I think 4 nights maybe. I wasn't counting, but I think about 4 nights of sleeping propped upright, which is very hard to do and sleep soundly. Um, and the second part was also trying to help with my neck as well because I didn't think that part through either. Because every morning or for those past next couple days, I was getting a really bad headache, but it was not due to the anesthesia. It was actually due to the neck strain from sleeping propped up but not having anything supporting me. So eventually, luckily, I do have a neck pillow, so I eventually knew to get that on. Didn't really help much though, honestly. I found I still had a lot of neck strain. So eventually, I was just like, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and sleep lying down. And luckily, by that point, I was able to push myself up a little bit on my own, so I didn't need anyone to like come and help me get up in the morning. So yeah, so that eventually helped. And so going back to the cats though, my cats again like sleeping on my chest and stuff like that normally before the surgery. And now with this surgery, they are like really attached to trying to sleep on my chest now because they know I'm in pain up here. And so cats will try to make biscuits and they'll purr on your spots where you're in pain because purring is good for healing. Anyways, so with that, when I'm asleep, I have to sleep with a stuffy. I have a little stuffed duck that I lie on my chest so my cats don't try to jump onto my chest while I'm asleep. And it works pretty good so far. Yeah, they haven't done it yet, which is I'm very thankful for. And then during the daylight hours while I'm awake, they still try to get on my chest while I'm on the couch or something like that. But luckily I can just like keep my hand here and then they know not to jump on me. Very clearly, by the way, I didn't really have a mindset of how I was going to do this video. I'm just like, we'll just figure it out as we go. You can tell by the way I'm speaking how much I'm pausing, and you can see the gears shifting in my head as I try to think of what I want to talk about. But yeah, so really that's like the toughest part. And then showering. Oh my God, showering. Showering has sucked too. So in the instructions, which I'll show you later, the instructions I was given was like you can shower 2 days after your surgery. I waited 3 days, mainly because I also have a lot of anxiety with myself being in pain. It kind of came with the day that I almost chopped my finger off. It was literally on by like hanging onto the tendon by a millimeter. The doctor said they're like, if you went even one bit further, you would have lost your finger completely. And I'm like, cool. Ever since then, I can't see my own blood. I can't see my own blood. I can't, like, I'm so scared of being in pain that it makes me vomit, essentially. Like, it's a fear. It's a fear of being in pain and seeing my own blood outside of my body. And I feel like it's a normal thing, but I feel like mine's a little bit more heightened. Like, everyone shouldn't like to see their own blood. Anyways, I'm getting too distracted here. Um, what was I talking about? How did I get there? Oh, showering. That's right. Um, so yeah, so with my pain, my chest being in so much pain, I was very scared of taking the bra off and being like, I don't want to see like me deeply bruised and stuff like that, which I wasn't, by the way. I'm not bruised at all. I and everything's fine. And even now, again, it's 10 days. That's right, because it was on the 6th that I had my surgery. So, and it's the 16th today. So even 10 days later, I still have like the surgery, what's it called, tape and stuff like that on me because it hasn't washed off yet. Because you're not supposed to peel it off, the doctor says. You just have to let it kind of go off on its own. So yeah, everything's been good, but the showering was scary, the very first shower, because I was just like so scared of seeing my chest, like probably like red and purple and stuff like that. And then once I finally had that first shower, I was like, oh, this is fine. I'm not like, it just feels painful. Also, it's probably pain from the compression bra because you have to wear this 24/7 for 6 weeks. It sucks. Wearing a bra all day sucks on its own, especially a wired bra sucks on its own. But wearing a compression bra 24/7, I hate it. It's the worst. Can't do it. Don't want it anymore. And I'm only just over a week done, and I still got 5 more weeks to go. But yeah, so with that, that's the only time you're allowed to take off your bra, your compression bra, is when you go into the shower, and the shower can only be roughly 10 minutes-ish long. I think it's 10 to 15 in the instructions, if I remember correctly. And then you have to put it on again. And then for anybody that's wondering, hey, well, if you can only take off your bra during that time, are you wearing the same bra like the entire 6 weeks? No, you buy a second bra and then you switch them out and wash them. But yes, so where am I with that? Yeah, showering. Yeah, so showering was interesting though, and it still is interesting because I can't lift my arms. So it makes showering, like washing your head, really hard because you have to bring your head down to your arms instead. So there's a little bit of strain with that. But besides that, showering is totally okay. You can't, I don't use my loofah for my chest part. I just use like, get some body wash in my hands and I just gently rub with my hands. And you can't spray the water directly onto your chest either. You have to spray around it kind of thing and let it wash over. So like, for example, I can spray the water onto my neck and then let it wash over kind of thing. But yeah, so showering's been a thing. Sleeping. What else do we need to talk about? I don't think anything else. I'm not able to, I wasn't able to drive, but that was also due to the medications they give you, the painkiller. You're not allowed to drive while on them. But I stopped again really early on. I haven't driven yet, but I did start my car the other day and just sat in the car because it had moved for a week. So I'm like, it should probably get turned on for a little bit. And what else? Oh yes, walks. So in the instructions they do tell you to go on for walks a little bit, nice short ones. And today, like literally Saturday, May 16th, was my very first time walking for a full hour. I'm going to try to keep doing this regularly, doing full 1 hour walks in the morning. I'm hoping to do one in the evening as well, but that also depends on how my energy level, to be honest. Because again, right now it's basically almost summer, even though it's only May, but like it's so hot already where I live. Like we're already into like the 20s, which is warm for right now. And yeah, so I try to walk in the morning, and then I would like to walk in the evening for an hour each, but we'll see. And yeah, so for today's walk, for the full 1 hour, it wasn't bad. Like I didn't feel it in my heart really. I did get a little bit of sweat. By the time I got home, I noticed there was like a little bit of perspiration on my forehead, not a lot. But one thing I did notice is that my hamstring / what is it called? Abductor? It's kind of like where your hip is, like the side of your hip. my left leg was in pain. It was sore. So I do got to take it a little bit easier. I think like jumping to an hour was a little bit too quick, maybe. But what else? I don't think there's a whole bunch else I need to update you on for other things. Um, Food has just been, because I can't cook, because like I can't hoist up a pot of water if it's more than 10 pounds or anything like that. I can't lift it right now. So I just do simple microwave meals, and just snacks throughout the day. Yeah. And basically when it comes to my recovery stuff, that's all I like my day to day. It's really just honestly going for my morning walk or having my breakfast, have my morning walk. I read a little bit. I'm currently reading the very first book because I had by the way, I had my birthday since I last saw you. That's right. So I'm now 31. Yay. Um, and so my sister and her family, they gave me a new book to read, Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is a tongue twister to say Dungeon Crawler Carl. And it is cute. I'm only on chapter 5 right now, or chapter 6. Still early on, but it's a cool book. I really like it because I'm a nerd. I love like video games and D&D and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good book. And then I also finished The Witcher Season of Storms. And I'm waiting to get the next book out because it's still not on paperback yet. So I'm waiting to get that, and I think it comes out in September. But yeah, so I've been reading. I've been playing a little bit on my Switch because I didn't want to get up onto my computer right away because lifting up my arms and stuff like that to play. But yeah, been playing a lot on my Switch. Pokemon, what's it called? Arceus? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. And then just watching TV and stuff like that. I finally decided to watch The Boys, which is really good. I actually quite like it. A little bit vulgar, but it's pretty good. So I caught up all the way up to where we are now. So I'm just waiting up for the finale now. And yeah, what else have I done? Yeah, watch TV, watch movies, all that kind of stuff. And that's really it. And then tomorrow will be my first outing. I'm going to go out to grab coffee with a couple of friends. I'm going to go grocery shopping because I got to grab a couple of things. What else? Yeah. So I'm going to have one normal day out finally. I think that's it. Hi, Maze. All right, so let's get into it though. What are we at? 30 minutes already. Wow. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about the instructions I was given, because maybe you are somebody who's also trans and getting breast reconstruction for top surgery. So I'm going to pop it up onto the side here. Hi, Maisie. You want to sit on Mom? Nope. Okay. That was a false alarm. You got it. So I'm going to be looking over here because this is where actually my screen is. And I'm also going to pop it up here as well for you anyways. So this is the page that I was given from the my surgeon team, not the hospital, but the surgeon team after I had my surgery. And gosh, I wish they told me when I was a little bit more back in my head, because again, like I mentioned, I was still really bad on anesthesia for 2 days, essentially, after that surgery. And so right after the surgery, they try to go through this stuff with me. And I'm like, sure, yeah, nothing in one ear, out the other. And also too, I kind of wish it was a more comprehensive instructions, because I had so many questions that I had prepared to ask, but they're just like, oh, don't worry about it. It's probably on the instructions we're going to give you after. I'm like, okay. They weren't. None of my questions were on here. So I'm going to have to wait until the 6-week post-surgery appointment with my surgeon to ask a bunch of questions that I have. And then, yeah. Oh, also, while I'm talking about that, I also have set up my 2-week post-surgery appointment with my GP, which is what my surgery team said I could do. They're just like, yeah, you can come see us in Vancouver, or you can go see your GP. And I'm like, I don't want to come back to Vancouver, to be completely honest. I'm like, I am tired of all these Vancouver medical visits that only last like 5 minutes long, and then I have to go back home again. No. So I'm just like, I'm going to go see my GP. So I'm seeing him next week on Wednesday. And I don't think I'm going to be able to ask him these questions, because again, he's just my GP. So I'm going to wait to ask the actual surgeon on the 6-week one, my questions. But yes, back to the instructions. So we're going to pop them up right here. Ding. So here's the instructions. This is from the first page. I broke it up into a couple smaller photos so you can actually be able to read them with me as well. So the first one is for the surgery itself. Have someone with you for the first 2 days, kind of thing. We'll just skim over that. Get plenty of rest. Follow a balanced diet. So they're talking whole foods. They're just like, don't be doing kind of what I was doing for a while there. Lots of microwave meals. Luckily, I'm back on my. I can't remember if I showed you in a previous video, but I have like a fruit and veggie smoothie that I drink at noon. It's got spinach, broccoli, carrots, prune juice, orange juice, and a banana in it. So it's really good for you. So stuff like that is what you should be eating. Whole grain, what's it called? Like rice and stuff like that. Chicken breast, all that kind of jazz is what you should be eating. Decreased activity may promote constipation. I actually didn't have that. I found for bottom surgery was really bad. So in preparation, for the top surgery, I'm like, oh, I'll bring the stuff that they gave me for bottom surgery for constipation just in case I need it. I didn't. It's totally fine. Maze, can you not play with the camera? Thank you. I love you. But yeah, so constipation could be a thing. You don't need to worry about it. Just drink your fluids, drink water. If you're really bad, like you could try to have prune juice. But yeah, I got moving pretty fast with my bowel movements. Take pain medication as prescribed. I didn't. I stopped pretty quickly, like I mentioned before. Yep, that's fine. Take medication. So again, I didn't. You can. But yeah, so theirs was you can take 1 or 2 pills every 4 hours is what they said. And again, I only took 1 for the first couple days in the morning and then 1 at night to help me sleep. And that was it. Do not drink alcohol when taking pain medications. I don't drink alcohol anyways. I only drink 1 drink on 2 different days, Christmas and my birthday. And because I was in medical recovery, I can even have my 2nd annual drink. So I'm like, darn, okay, well, okay. Anyways, if you're taking vitamins with iron, resume these as tolerated, which I have. Do not smoke. I don't smoke anyways. Smoking delays healing, blah, 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 blah. So do not smoke, and that's fine. I don't smoke. All right, on to the second part, activities. Boop. Start walking as soon as possible. This helps reduce swelling and lowers the chance of blood clots, which I've been doing. I started off really small though. I did like little 10-minute walks to begin with. Like just walked outside around my house and down my street a little bit. And now I'm at, like I said, a full hour now. Do not drive until you're no longer taking any of the pain medications, which I am not taking anymore. No heavy lifting for 6 weeks. That's the bummer. Because for me, with my job, with the dogs, even with teaching yoga, like, because you're lifting up your own body weight, which I am 168 pounds. That's a lot. So I can't lift for 6 weeks. So that means that I'm most likely gone out of work for the full 6 weeks rather than the full 4 to 6 weeks. Because there's some dogs that I got to lift and they're 50 pounds. And it's just like, that's heavy lifting. Just letting you know that. So I might be out for the full 6 weeks unless I start working with different dogs that don't require me to lift them. Then I might be able to do that. But then I feel bad because then I have to, then it's kind of like discriminating against clients that have heavier dogs that require to be lifted. And so I feel weird if I start working but say no to other people. That's just rude. Anyways, return to work when you feel well enough. Could be 1 or 2 days after surgery or 2 weeks, depending on your type of work. Stay away from any job or sport that involves strenuous activity for 6 weeks. So this one very specifically says 6 weeks now, rather than what I was told before, which was 4 to 6 weeks. So with that, with this little sentence, the stay away from any job sport that involves strenuous activity for 6 weeks and no heavy lifting for 6 weeks, I'm pretty sure I'm gone for the full 6 weeks. Avoid sexual activity for 1 to 2 weeks, as this may increase your blood pressure and cause bleeding. For anyone that's wondering, yes, that also means solo stuff as well. You can't do solo stuff. But again, I can't remember if I've mentioned this to people before. I'm demi, so that doesn't really bother me. Demisexual is on the asexual sphere, by the way. if you don't know anything about it. On to the next one, incision care. Boop. We're just gonna talk through the highlighted stuff because there's really no reason to talk about the stuff that doesn't involve me. So please leave your dressings on for 7 days. You may shower in 2 days, and you have dissolving sutures. So if you have tape on your incision, please keep them on until they fall off. It is okay to shower over the tapes when appropriate. It is normal to see or feel the knot in the stitches as the end of this incision. The stitch knot is not a problem. It will either dissolve on its own or come to the, goes on to the next page, or come to the surface of your skin, which can be clipped free. Occasionally, the end of a stitch will be intentionally left, that is coming through the skin. Be sure not to cut it off at the level of the skin or it may irritate further. Next, avoid exposing your scars to the sun for at least 12 months. So that means no sunbathing for 12 months. I can still like wear how would I say this? I can still show off my boobs with clothes. I just have to make sure that it's not, the scars are still hidden by clothes. Is that the best way to say it? Sure. Okay. So the sun, it's just the scars that can't be hit by the sun. That's all. It takes a full year for scars to mature. The sun can affect the pigmentation of the scars. Always use a strong sunblock if sun exposure is unavoidable. SPF 30 or greater. I usually wear super high SPF. Anyways, no tub soaking while sutures or drains are in place. Do not soak in a bath, pool, or ocean lake for at least 6 weeks. As I've mentioned before, I don't have a bath. I'm also not very much of a swimmer either. I also have a fear of swimming in the ocean, lakes, and all that kind of stuff because of sharks. Even though I know sharks aren't in lakes and stuff like that, I just have this thought that I'm like, I'm going to get eaten by a shark. And so that's a fun fear I have. Anyways, what else? Yeah, so that's the activity stuff there. So kind of going back to the sutures and stuff like that, like you can take the dressings off after 7 days again, but then the other part after that was you kind of just have to let them come off on their own. So mine are still on and we're 10 days after the surgery, even though I said I could take them off after 7 days. The tape is still very stiffly on me, so I'm just waiting it out and hoping that after one of these showers they're starting to come off. But yeah, so avoid the sun for 12 months. So that one makes sense. Okay. No tub soaking. That's fine for 6 weeks. And then I think the other one was sexual activity for 2 weeks. Was that again? I got to go back to that. Avoid sexual activity for 1 to 2 weeks. So that's not that bad. Yeah. What were my... Oh, yes. So then going kind of like, we're going to go away from these little pics here of the instructions. But like my questions for the surgeon were like, when can I know this is very specific to me, but when can I let my cats sleep on my chest again? That's one of my questions, but it doesn't specify there. Another question is, I would like to get my girls I'd like to get my girls pierced. When can that happen? When can I get a cover-up tattoo as well for underneath to hide the scar? And those were things that were not in these instructions, by the way. Anyways, next one. What to expect. Post-operative pain and discomfort for a few days with prescribed medications. Temporary bruising, swelling, soreness, burning sensation. The worst of your swelling will dissipate within a few weeks. All swelling and bruising should be gone within 6 to 8 weeks. So then that means roughly June to July is when my swelling and bruising should be gone. Within 1 month to 6 weeks. I feel like that is reversed. I feel like you should say within 6 weeks. No, wait. 6 weeks is more than a month. I'm dumb. Never mind. Within 1 month to 6 weeks, you should be back to all of your normal activities. So again, the 6 weeks being like lifting, all that kind of stuff. And the last one here, when to call. If you have significantly increased swelling or rapid bruising, especially if it is on one side more than the other, if you have increased redness along the incision, which spreads more than 2 centimeters from the incision, if you have severe or increased pain not relieved by medication, if you have any side effects to medication such as rash, severe headache, vomiting, if you have an oral temperature of over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, if you have pus draining from the incision or notice a foul odor, if you have bleeding from the incisions that is difficult to control with a light pressure. If you have loss of feeling or motion, if you experience sudden shortness of breath, heart palpitations, or rapid pulse, pain, or swelling in your legs or foot, call 911 immediately or go to your nearest emergency department. And those were the instructions that my doctor gave me. So they were, like, some of them are useful, but not all. Like, I still have other questions, like I mentioned. But yeah, that's really it. And I think that's all I have for this update. There's really nothing else to really talk to you about. And we're already 41 minutes into this video. Like, this is a long one already on its own. But yeah, I think we're done. I think that's it. We're not doing any of those Reddit questions that I've done before. Hi, Maisie. Yeah. Video's done. And yeah, I think that's it. We got nothing else left to talk about. If I do have something I missed, I can put it into the next video. We're going to wait until this week I do have my 2-week appointment. So I will have make another video for this week coming up. So I will make another video because my 2-week post-operative post-surgery appointment, whatever it's called, is on Wednesday the 20th with my GP. So I will make a video that weekend. So my next video will be on the 24th. After that, though, I might wait a little bit for the 6-week one. Wait until the 6-week appointment with my surgeon. And I think that'll be it. And again, at this point, these are no longer really GoFundMe videos. They're more just updates for people that are just trying to stay up to date with everything. And I just want to say thank you to you. And we're not even going to talk about the GoFundMe anymore because I don't really care. So with that, thank you for watching. And thank you for all the kind words that people have been sending to me as well regarding my surgery. Things are going good. And yeah, I'll see you next time. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful night, wonderful weekend, wonderful week, whatever time of the day it is that you're watching this. I hope you have a wonderful life. Okay, bye.